Welcome to my review of Chapter 12 of The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 4, The Siege. Now, before we get going with this review, I must warn you, like always, there will be spoilers. This is the midway point of the season. It's a very important episode, so if you have already seen the episode, let's talk about it. After trying and failing to fix the Razor Crest on his own, Mando sees himself forced to return to Navarro, rejoining old allies for a new mission. Now, before we crack on with the review, I want to know your thoughts. That's the most important part. It's starting the conversation in the comments below, so let me know what you thought, if you really loved it, if you were very disappointed, all of that in the comments. Also, if you're new here, consider clicking the subscribe button and liking the video because it helps me and the channel. And also, I have my merch store now open on TeePublic and Redbubble. Links for that in the description. Going into this episode, I was very curious because this was directed by Carl Weathers. I have never seen anything directed by him before, and also this is the midway point of the season. It is, by all indications, or at least should be, a very crucial episode. And I gotta tell you, the first half of this episode very much feels like a side mission until our characters stumble upon something that changes the perspective I had on this entire episode, on the season, and it very much feels like a midway point on the screenplay where the stakes are changed and upped drastically, and this episode does that very well. I want to talk, however, about something very near the beginning of this episode. We have an awesome action scene by Cara Dune. She kicks the ass of some aliens. She is now the marshal of this little village, which, by the way, looks like a Star Wars version of Agrabah from Aladdin, and I really like that. So when Mando comes in, there is Cara Dune and Greef Karga to greet him. Greef Karga is like a big grandpa with Baby Yoda. That scene with them was just so cute. But as Mando got to it and Greef Karga ordered those two aliens to fix the ship, there was one shot of an alien looking back at them as they went along into the village, and I'm like, that's a bit suspicious. And it turned out by the end of this episode, it was very suspicious. Now, before they go into the mission, they leave Baby Yoda at this school, which is one of the cutest visuals I've ever seen. They're being taught by a C-3PO-like droid. There's this asshole of a kid sitting next to Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda is asking for one macaroon, because those are macaroons, so the stock on those is going up, so buy yourself some stocks on macaroons because they're going up, the blue ones specifically. And this asshole kid doesn't give a single macaroon to Baby Yoda, so Baby Yoda just force pulls the macaroons towards him, the entire bag, and he keeps it throughout this episode. So as Mando, Greef Karga, Cara Dune, and that alien that Mando captured in the first episode of the first season, played by Horatio Sanz, they go into this space, they kick some stormtrooper ass, and it very much feels like the infiltration of the Death Star in A New Hope. The shots are very similar, the things they have to do are very similar, and then as they activate it to blow, they're on their way out and they stumble upon a transmission from that scientist from the first season who is proving right that he wanted to clone Baby Yoda. They have these weird looking clones. I don't even know clearly what they are, but at first I thought they were, oh, is that the Snoke bodies? And I don't think they're doing that, but again, it changes the stakes. We now have more of a clear idea of what Moff Gideon wants and why the Empire wanted Baby Yoda. And I gotta shout out Andy King, who I do a podcast with every Saturday with him and Austin from SPC Bird. Go check that out. Andy King called this. He called that they probably wanted to clone Baby Yoda for some sort of nefarious purpose. And it's kind of being proven right. And in this transmission from the scientist, they also hear the name Moff Gideon, who they thought was dead, but the transmission is 3 days old, so now Mando knows he has got to be alive, or at least there's something weird going on for the Empire to still believe Moff Gideon is alive. So clearly they want the child. Mando goes on his jetpack. Greef Karga, Cara Dune, and Horatio Sanz are left behind and they kick some ass. There's an awesome speed biker chase through a canyon that just looks incredible. Seriously, Carl Weathers directed the crap out of this episode, which, number one, is surprising to me because, again, I've never seen anything he directed, but also he is so much in front of the camera. It's astounding how good it was direction-wise. So Mando, who went to get Baby Yoda on his jetpack as he was faster, and the others are getting overwhelmed because suddenly TIE fighters show up. Mando comes in, the Razor Crest is fixed, he's got Baby Yoda. There's one part where he goes upward and Baby Yoda's just like, yay! Which is the cutest thing ever. And also he pukes, so you know, do buy your macaroon stocks, but just don't eat them within an hour like the whole pack of macaroons, because you will puke. But it's the cutest thing. Mando then cleans them up. It's just, Baby Yoda is so freaking cute. And so the mission is a success, but the Empire self-destructs that entire base. They don't want to leave any clues, any evidence behind. And finally, we get the proof in the pudding that I was right, that aliens look at Mando was very suspicious, and he is a spy for the Empire. And so he put a tracking beacon on the Razor Crest, so now Moff Gideon knows where the child and Mando are at all times, and it looks like he's creating a small army of Death Troopers, I want to say. It felt very much like Star Wars now is going to have their own Cylons from Battlestar Galactica, but they're all black, and Moff Gideon had a very confident look on his face, and I just love the score in that scene where that officer goes to inform him that the mission was a success for them. So I love how this episode executed a midway point in terms of screenplay. In terms of screenplay, a midway point is halfway through the second act, and it should change the stakes drastically. It should elevate them and should change the perspective that one has on where the story is going. And I love how this episode did that. I also love seeing Appa from Kim's Convenience. Again, he's interrogating Greef Karga because they know the Razor Crest was here, but Greef Karga just says, oh, no, it wasn't here. And there's this really cool conversation that Appa has with Cara Dune because she is from Alderaan. She was a member of the rebellion, and he's trying to call her back, and there's a hint that she might rejoin the New Republic, so I'm curious about what they're going to do with that. I know we've heard the rumors of a Cara Dune spin-off show. I honestly don't want to see that. I would much rather she joins the Republic and keeps her status as a supporting character within this show, but her status very much changes as she goes from rebel fighter to marshal to then member of the New Republic. I think that's a much better decision. So those are my thoughts on The Mandalorian Chapter 12, The Siege. What did you think about it? Was this a perfect midpoint of the season for you? What do you think is the goal of Moff Gideon? Does he want to clone Baby Yoda? Does he want to find out more about Yoda's species? Is that why they're trying to clone him? And where are those silent look-like slash Death Troopers look like that he has on that room within the Star Destroyer, which, by the way, Star Destroyers are some of the best ships in all of Star Wars. Let me know all of that in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me weekly for the Mandalorian reviews, and stay tuned for many more reviews to come for Run, Fat Man, and Jungleland. I'll have all of those up during this weekend, and go check out Austin's podcast on Saturday that I do with him and Andy King. Thank you so much once more. You are the best. And so until the next video, don't forget to stay beautiful, stay geeky, and please do subscribe and like the video if you're new here, or if you're old, share with your friends because it really helps me and the channel out. But most importantly, above everything else, forever and always, love each other, love the movies, because this is the way.